Cool. We're here.
Feed.
Oh.
Now it is. Okay, we're here.
Oh, that would have been bad. That would have been an interesting conversation.
No. I think we're good. Yep. Okay. Let's get started.
Let's do it.
I hit record. I hit it once.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
And I hit my microphone right as you said that. My hands are gonna stop as soon as my pump stops yelling at me.
No problem.
There we go.
When you ready? Now you ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
I have no water. Oh, no. It's fine.
Oh no!
We're going.
Oh
we're
no!
Going. No, it's fine.
We're rolling with it.
We're rolling. Welcome to GT Radio on the Geek Therapy Network. Here at Geek Therapy, we believe that the best way to understand each other and ourselves is through the media we care about. My name is Josue Cardona, and I'm joined by Lara Taylor.
Hey.
Link Keller.
Hey.
Today we're talking about Littlewood. Littlewood.
It's a little town called Littlewood.
And Lara's been taking little breaks in Littlewood.
And
yes.
Longer breaks in Littlewood.
And longer breaks in Littlewood.
Okay. So what this game looks, I don't know, looks it looks fantastic to me, but it also looks familiar to
tell us about Littlewood.
Littlewood, which is so funny because every time I tell people about Littlewood and I say the name, they're like, Littlewood.
Yeah.
That's because I surround myself with people who have the sense of humor of a 13-year-old, but it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
This game is more sophisticated than that. It's wonderful and beautiful. It's a little 8-bit like town builder game. A client of mine actually recommended it to me, and I'm so appreciative. It is the most I would compare it to Stardew Valley, which we've talked about how it is sometimes an anxiety-provoking game, Stardew Valley. But the cool thing about Littlewood is the reason I play it so much is there's no countdown clock. There's no timer. Like I can just let it be and play. And here's Josue playing the game. I wish there was a multiplayer option. Ooh, you placed your market in a very interesting place. This is going to be
45 minutes, and
this is going to be so distracting to me.
Yeah,
and I love it.
I just if you're watching this live, you can see what the game looks like, and it's very distracting. I told you not to play, so
very cute, very cute little 8-bit game. It is the premise is you were the hero of the big story. Like you defeated the Dark Wizard, you and your friends, and you wake up one day and you're in Littlewood, and you don't
Littlewood,
like Hollywood, Littlewood.
Yeah.
You don't remember any of it. You don't remember your friends. You don't remember beating the Dark Wizard, and over time, you're learning about your adventures with your friends and building connections and building a community. And you're building the town. Literally, you build your house, you build your friend's house, you're collecting resources to do that. But you can romance all the characters, including a duck. It's really cute. And you get to cook food, and it's so relaxing. And I think what gets me is I loved the concept of Stardew Valley. But I would get so anxious when it got close to the end of the day. I have to do all these things by the end of the day. And this game, it's a stamina bar. So you can only do so much by the end of the day, but it's not counting it down. And you go to bed and the next day's there. It doesn't feel as stressful to me.
Yeah.
I have spent so much time playing this game in the last few weeks.
Yeah, it's a good point. Everything you do fills up the bar. So you can just kind of hang out and talk to people forever without and not progress time forward. But when you do things, so you have a limited number of tasks to do.
And building things doesn't count against your bar. You can do as much modification and landscaping and all of that. So that piece doesn't cut you out of extra time. You get to do, it's mostly the chopping wood, collecting stone, fishing, cooking, catching bugs, much like Animal Crossing.
It sounds a lot like Animal Crossing, which was the game we needed this time last year, and it came at just the right time. And it sounds like
this is the game that I need right now. Yeah. Because Animal Crossing still feels like a chore after playing it for so long. This game, it's like Animal Crossing, but it has story, right? Like you wake up some mornings and you get a clip.
Wait.
Yeah.
There's a story in Animal Crossing.
You build your own story, but I'm talking like
you gotta get KK to come over to
once you're done, once KK is there, the story is done. Yeah. This game, you get little bits each day. Exactly. Roll credits and it's done.
Yeah.
I beat that game over a year ago.
I was rereading Reality is Broken recently, and I think Jane explains so well the gamer enjoyment cycle, where you're like, oh, it's like shiny, new, learning new things, flow, mastery, and then you can only do that for so long. And then what you do is you just get off of that one, and then you start the whole cycle again with another one, right? So for me, there have been many times where I've thought, oh, I really want that Animal Crossing experience, but I can't get it from Animal Crossing anymore. There's like in some games I would have just deleted my island and then started over for that feeling, but I haven't felt like doing that because it's been too much of an investment to get the things that I have, and I don't want to do that. So I needed something else. I just got Littlewood today, and I'm. Are
you invested?
Well, it's all the things you said, right? It's like it's all the same. It's very similar elements. It's a different art style. It's different than Stardew Valley. It does many of the similar things, the things that I already like, but it does things in a slightly different way. A lot of the objectives are similar, but so far I like the system. I like that, and it's just like it feels. It has that aesthetic and that, I don't know, like energy level, right? That is just very.
It's a mellow energy level, and the music is so soothing, and I can just leave it on and walk around and then come back and be like, oh yeah, I was trying to pick my carrots out of the garden today or whatever.
Yeah. I'm glad. I probably won't play it now because there's another game that I've been playing a lot, and this I didn't expect. I've been playing Genshin Impact a lot for the past few months, and that game basically just had an update that added Animal Crossing into kind of stuff. So I've built an island and landscaping, and I'm like, I have pets now, and I'm building furniture, and I'm cutting, I'm getting material and cutting down trees and building fabric and doing, again, all these same things that for some reason just, it's like low cognitive load, not difficult. It's just, but it feels good. It's like, oh, I built a new thing and I can move it and I can, all those small things. But it's pretty shallow now. Like it's pretty limited. So I think between that and Littlewood, I can definitely, if I need it, I don't feel like I need it as much now as I needed Animal Crossing last year, but it's good. Yeah.
It's so peaceful. And I like the idea of the story. Like your character doesn't remember anything, and your friends still love you and want you to remember and don't make you feel bad for not remembering. And like, it's just like, oh, remember how we used to do this thing together? We remember that time we went across the bridge and the bridge fell down or something. And like, it's just so sweet. They just try to help you remember. I don't know where that story's going yet. I'm on day 46.
I'm on day 2, and it's already noticeably optimistic and cheerful in a way that even Animal Crossing, as cute as it is, like there's some jerks in Animal Crossing, right? Like some people, right? Like there's you got a little bit of everything there, and this one here, you're right. And there's I don't know I'm curious how you feel, or how you would describe that feeling of the moment you start. It's like the epilogue to so many other games that you've played, right? It's like,
It's your time to relax. You get to
Yeah.
put down the sword and just like go chop down some trees.
I was like, you've been sleeping for 3 days. Why? I don't even remember. Like, you won. You beat the game. You defeated the evil wizard, right? And that was a hell of a battle. This town is all messed up. We should probably fix it. I don't even know what it's called. What do you want to call it? It's like, I'm like, what is happening? I love that as the basis for for a game.
Yeah, and then you get to build a town square with a statue dedicated to you in the town square. It's
I haven't gotten that far.
You haven't gone that far yet.
That feels more like Fable.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I hope I don't have to kill a dog at the end or choose the fate of it.
I hope not. I hope not. I don't think they would do that. But
you have to kill your duck wife.
My duck wife. My duck wife. There are so many. It's interesting because you can compliment and flirt with you build these relationships with anyone you want in the town. I'm trying not to do that with everybody, but I'm like, okay, you start with you and your two best friends, Willow and Dalton. So you get to pick, and you don't even have to pick. You can pick neither. You can have both of them. You can romance everybody. It's wonderful. But I think it's great that there's that choice and that option.
Yeah.
To do whatever. There's the duck person. There's an orc person. There's an old man that you can romance as well, which is really cute. And he likes to go fishing with you because he used to teach you how to fish.
Okay.
That's cute.
Okay. Yeah.
You got a hot air balloon that you can fly to all kinds of places. Someone in one of the port city is trying to get me to donate my money to help restore the port city. I'm like, no, I gotta restore Littlewood. But it's there's so much going on, but not enough that I get overwhelmed, because we've talked in past episodes how I get overwhelmed when there's too much going on in a game.
Yeah.
But there's a lot to choose from, but not too much, and I don't think I'm going to get bored with the game in the way that I think I did. Like, at one point, Animal Crossing got to just every day I get up, I pick all the weeds, I dig up the fossils, I sell stuff.
But that's every day, right? Like, there was a time when I was like, that was fulfilling and exactly what you... And
then after a certain point, it was like, that feels like work.
Yeah, there was also the difference in Animal Crossing being on real time. And so I think that adds a whole different experience to it than in Stardew Valley or Littlewood.
Right.
That's true.
Is like... There's a difference of doing the same.
The stream.
How's it resuming? It just said resume?
I don't know.
I guess maybe it'll just save the settings and stuff from before.
Maybe it'll just attach it to the other.
That would be cool.
That
seems too smart.
Yeah. Maybe if it was a shorter amount of time. But okay, that's
What does that mean?
Okay.
Let's pick up.
Sorry.
Let's pick
and
up.
We're recording. Off. I have no idea where the fuck we left off.
Where the fuck we left off?
You were talking about how in Littlewood you were on day 42 and you don't know for sure where the story is going.
Maybe that's where we were at, but I'm really excited to see where the story is going. I like the idea of like the retired hero. I like spins on the traditional story, right? It's pretty cool. Yeah,
instead of the traditional hero's journey that video games love to go for, they're like, hey, what if our video game is just the very ends? It does feel it's an epilogue to another game.
Yeah.
I often mention that I don't I have strong feelings about the hero's journey. It's not really the hero's journey itself. I love Joseph Campbell. That's not the issue. My issue is with people.
There are other storytelling.
There's other stories, and I hate it when people seem to try to fit life narratives and any story and try to put it into that story into the hero's journey cycle.
If it fits, it fits. If it doesn't, don't force it.
Well, it ends up being, it is the go-to example for describing narrative and how narrative works, and that ends up being a lot of people's only interaction with that concept and learning about narrative. And so it's similar to the stages of grief, which were misrepresented in what they were supposed to be doing. But it's so easy to pass along that bit of information, and it feels so apt. People are just like, that's it, we did it, that's enough for me, I got it. It's like there's more.
I get it. Joseph Campbell had that realization. He was like, whoa, a lot of stories follow the same exact thing, but not all of them. And so you don't have to try to fit yours into that. There's a TED video about a father talking about how much he hates the hero's journey because of how his daughter couldn't relate to the typical stories that are told through the heroes. Anyway, it was pretty good. He could say these things better than he can express my feelings more than I can. But yeah, I do love the idea that it's not just like there is actually a narrative reason for doing this, for doing all of these things. Everything is set up, and it also just takes all these tropes and just changes them, and I love the setup of that. I really like that a lot. I love the memory part. I mean, we had that episode about memory, but the fact that your character doesn't remember things, and you're slowly,
and you don't know why. Like it could be just like, could be got hit on the head, could be a magic thing, could be trauma. I don't know.
Who knows?
Who knows?
It gets real dark later.
maybe it does. Maybe it does. I don't know. One of the things I think I really like about it is, as I was trying to get to, is like I've been going through a lot of stress the last few weeks. It's been a stressful few weeks, and this game has been a good escape. But it's almost like I need an epilogue. Like I need the peaceful epilogue to like relax and chop down trees, and like this is a different kind of like Animal Crossing was the game I needed last year because I needed to get outside because I couldn't go outside. Now it's more acceptable to go outside and be around people just a little bit. But now I need the relaxing epilogue, just like my stress is done. Let me go escape for a little bit in this game and romance some characters and go fishing and try to build some houses and decorate my friends' houses the way they want to be decorated, and build a coffee house and build a tavern and cook. It's so good.
Is there a goal? Like, are there specific goals that you're trying to achieve? And not even just in the game. I mean, you personally.
I think, well, in the game, there are plenty of goals. There's a quest board. They give you things. You try and build a museum. Just like Animal Crossing. There's a whole bunch of things. For me, my goal is I want to learn more about the story. I want to get through, because they give you, I don't know exactly how things trigger, but if you go to your journal in the game, it gives you little markers that fill in when you have met all the people, and you don't necessarily meet them in a certain order. Same thing with the memories that come up in the morning. They don't necessarily go in a certain order. So I've gotten like the first 5 memories, and then there's one that I don't have, and then there are other ones I have. So I think each one is triggered by something that you do.
Sort of like how Hades did their storytelling. Where there's background systems keeping track of the things that you've done, and certain triggers will set off certain conversations.
Yeah. And I like that. It makes it like, Josue, you could play similarly to how I'm playing, but a little different, and maybe we get a few of the same memories, but like maybe there's something you see that I won't see yet because I haven't done a thing. Like maybe you're more interested in helping the guy. There's a guy that moves in named Ash that is focused on mining and stuff, and maybe you do that and that triggers a memory. compared to me trying to do a lot of the fishing and spending time in games. I tend to lean into the first few characters I run into. Like when I play a JRPG and I'm like,
that's your party.
The first character, that's my party. I don't need to add anyone else except for Red 13. But I think that's the party. I don't want to mess with it. It's balanced. So I kind of feel the same way with this. I'm like, oh, it's cute. You get the idea that I think that Willow has had a crush on you, and I think they kind of imply that with Dalton too. And so it's like,
well, I mean, Willow's the first person I've dated in about a year, so I'm. I want to see. Where
you could practice flirting. You can practice.
I saw Hearts.
You never have any dialogue with
me today.
Did she tell you that she appreciated the compliment? Because she says that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think
positive reinforcement. It's great.
Going well. I think it's going well so far. Saying I haven't met that many people in town yet. I just got there, but
you can do nice things for her. You can build the type of. You can build her the bookshelf she wants. You can decorate her walls the way she wants. You can build her the bed she wants.
Yeah. Anything for my wife. I love my wife.
My wife that I live in a separate house from. Everyone lives in separate houses. It's a nice little commune.
Yes.
The first day she was hanging out with me, and she stayed with me the entire day until I went all the way and then it was like, go to bed. Like she was still like with me. It just
You didn't say stop hanging out. She was still with you, huh?
I didn't see.
You can. It's on the pause. So you hit the button that goes to like journal and all
to
that.
See what happened, and then it just skipped to the next morning. And so
if you try to go sleep in someone else's bed, it says you can't sleep in their bed. So you can only have people over to your house.
So you've tried
apparently.
This. Huh.
So I had a lesbian first date, the 36-hour date.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
the U-Haul date.
She never went home. I never asked her to leave, and she never left. So now we're married, and it's beautiful.
On the lesbian date spectrum, what is it when you build a house for the other person? Like literally.
Very lesbian.
It's
high
very
on the lesbian level.
That's not a U-Haul, but it's very high. I mean, you use the carpentry skills to build a house.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. She technically, when we hung out, we just like cut down trees together and did a whole bunch of like. We went to the equivalent of like a hardware store, and yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Are there Subarus in this game?
You know what? I don't think so, but. Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay.
I mean, there's duck people. That
like horses
means
and stuff. Like, can you ride?
I don't know about riding horses, but I just got a cow to live in my town.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't go pet the cow today. I need to pet the cow before I save.
This game is extremely like cute and fun and funny.
There's a whole scene with two people having an apple eating contest. Like,
okay.
And it's like a battle. It's so cool.
I remember. I don't think it was the Animal Crossing episode, but it may have been last year. And it's just the way that Link said that a particular game was soothing that has stuck with me. And whenever I use the word soothing, I think of Link talking about that video game, and it's just, it feels like that, right? Like so you said you were stressful, you needed something like this. It just like it hit the spot, and it's been working.
And it's a game that like, I don't know, Animal Crossing. I felt like because it was real time, I had to like. I didn't want to put it down. I wanted to do things at certain times of the day. You had to do things at certain times of the day to catch whatever bugs or cheat. I don't cheat. But Littlewood is one that like I don't feel I can pause it, put it down, come back to it. Hopefully remember what I was doing, but it feels more Like I can have things in a bite size if I need to, or I can play for a long time, or I can mindlessly chop down wood and like break stones while I'm doing something else. Like sitting in a meeting at work.
A meeting game.
How long have your play sessions been on average?
I think it depends. Sometimes like I put it down because I have to go get something from a high cupboard for Nina because I'm taller, or something like that. But I have played, I think the longest is like an hour and a half.
Okay. I asked because I was watching a video about Genshin Impact and people were complaining about like, oh, there's nothing to do, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, but you're like, you're paying for like 12 hours a day because you're a YouTuber and a streamer, right? And so they talk about, they're like, well, you know, unless you're one of those people who just play for like an hour a day. I'm like, yeah, that's exactly
what most people do
when the systems seem to be built that way.
Yeah, and in a way, like what I really like about Genshin and why it's been, I played it back in November. I think it came out in September, October. I played it in November, played for a little bit, didn't touch it again until like late January, and it was a similar thing where it's like, oh, this is the game I need right now. And again, the Animal Crossing part of it just arrived, and it's fun, and and I really like it. But the game has so many different systems, and there's so many different ways to accomplish things, which is something that Animal Crossing and games like this have, right? It's like it's up to you, right? Like, do you want to just cut down trees and build this resource? Do you want to build this? Do you want to do this over here?
Want to do nothing but fish? You can live that dream.
Fish, right? Just have the most fish. And everything you do has some kind of value, right? That you can then use at a later. Like there's nothing. Genshin feels a lot like Breath of the Wild in the sense that it's an open world, and anywhere you always see something that you can do. That game, I mean, you can tell in the design that there's always it's huge and has a lot of open space, but there's always even just like there's like a plant that you can pick, or an animal that you can hunt. There's something that you can do in all places. And there's so many systems on systems on systems and things that you can dedicate yourself to. So there's like a grind that you can do every day that feels satisfying. Like, do these 4 things every day, you get a bonus. And so like I try to do that every single day. But if I have more time, there are all these other goals that I'm working toward that I'm like, oh, I've got some extra time. I got this resource. I'm going to cash this in and do this and try to get this other thing, right? And there's like events every 6 weeks. Actually, every like 2. There's like the cadence at which this particular game is going is very impressive. But it's giving me all of these things that to keep me engaged. And perhaps one of those most surprising things is that it has so many different systems. Like there was an event a couple weeks ago that had mini games in it, where you were like dodging bubbles or like climbing things, and like one was like you were falling and like picking these things as you're like gliding down. And it's such a fun world to be in that's the thing. Like nothing feels too. There are things that are really difficult in the game, but overall it's just bright and colorful, and it just makes me feel good to be in there. And the characters, you care about each and every one of the characters. Every character comes in, and they even like the game even does these surveys. And they'll give you extra like currency if you complete the surveys. And one of the previous ones was about like why do you invest in a particular character? And to be honest, like it's like they each have a personality and a backstory. And
because I love them.
And because I love them. Yeah, basically.
My beautiful son. I love you.
But one of the things that they did, like they even capitalized on it. Like this game is so many different things. But about a month ago, they added what they call hangout events. But they're basically dating sims for some of the characters. And then so you go and like you can go on like you spend a day with these characters, and you have the whole thing where you're like face to face and you're talking, and then there's these different options, and you see that there's it's like a what are the like Detroit and Become Human.
And like yes, the choose your own adventure style.
Right? Yeah, right. It's like there's this whole chart, and you see like, oh, you got like one of the 6 possible things. Like, go ahead, like do it again, and they're kind of short, and it's just like oh, you like these characters? Let's build a dating sim in. Why not? And then you just get to hang out with them, and then you get a cute picture at the end. I'm like, yeah, no, absolutely. Because one day I want to play the game, and that's just all I want to do. I just want to hang out with Noelle one day. That's it. That's all I'm gonna do. And then another day I'm like, no, I'm gonna go like destroy this boss character for this giant dragon, and you can do all of that in the same place. But it's like, again, it's bright, it's colorful, it's everything about it is just soothing in many ways.
Yeah, it's so interesting. Recently my therapist asked me, like, what games do you play to relax? My answer was not any of these kinds of games.
Which
my answer was,
did you answer?
Well, I was at the time I had been playing. At the time, I'd been playing Tell Me Why, which is a very fucked up dark story with some cool aspects to it. I loved how we talked about memory and relationship and learning about yourself and learning about your parents and learning about things from your past. That was really cool. But my answer was like, I think it's because I enjoy playing games where the problems are bigger than my own, so that I can like defeat a problem that's bigger. If I can do that, then I can handle my own real life human problems.
And do you mean that narratively or like mechanically?
Both. Like if I beat a game, or I am defeating a battle, defeating monsters, fighting a battle, and I win the battle, like it feels like, okay, cool. I'm doing something that if I as Lara actually did, I would probably not be okay. I have this sense of mastery, and like I defeated the thing, and I can actually see the thing, and my problem seems smaller. Like in playing Tell Me Why, the story is so big, and like there's so much going on, and these people have been through so much trauma, and it's like, okay, my problems seem a little smaller than that right now. But now I don't know, like I feel like there's room for both for me, but now Littlewood is a game that I like. I need to relax.
What's the answer? What was the answer?
Well, the answer was I hadn't even started playing Littlewood when she asked me this.
Right, but like what?
The answer is it depends.
It depends on what kind of stress I'm feeling.
Yeah, that's the real answer is like depending on the context of the stress different games are going to provide different kinds of outcomes for you, and depending on what kind of stress you're feeling, you're going to be looking for different kinds of outcomes. Yeah. Something, you said with Tell Me Why, it's having a story where the problems outweigh yours in such a way where you can be all like, whew, I feel better about my situation now. But it can also be like, I need to disassociate from my problems, and I need to chop 100 trees. And that is absolutely doable. And being able to achieve that goal makes me feel better.
Yeah. I have a coworker who I was like trying to pitch to play Genshin. They're like, they were like, oh, do you have to grind? And I'm like, yes, like that's the best part. Like in life, nothing's that black and white. Nothing's that clear, right? It's like, if I, like you mentioned, the 100 trees, if I cut down 100 trees, I can get this thing. I know exactly what I need to do. So I have a goal, have strategy.
It's explicit. It's achievable.
Yep.
It's
unlike life has none of that. Why are you? What do you have against grinding?
Life is like grind, and then maybe something will happen. Yeah, you won't know until then.
Like Genshin is a gacha game, right? Which means it has loot boxes, basically, right? Like lots of type of elements. Like that's more like real life. It's like, yeah, you can drop $1,000 and that still won't guarantee that you're gonna get the thing that you wanted. You might, maybe. Also, somebody else might spend $2 and get the same thing. Oops. Yep, that's life. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like this idea of the little breaks. Like you said, like we've had really long gaming sessions, but shorter breaks like that. It's hard in other games to have that kind of sense of accomplishment, because even a game that has a level that you get to the other end of it, that doesn't necessarily feel like an accomplishment, right? Like sometimes you watch a TV show and you get to the end of an episode and you're like, ooh, I feel a sense of accomplishment because I finished the episode. But if that thing ends in a cliffhanger, right? Like you feel worse. You don't feel better.
I just finished Yashahime, the first season.
Cliffhanger, of course, it's got a cliffhanger.
Cliffhanger. And the sad thing is that I put off watching the final episode because I was, I could watch the final episode after I watched the penultimate episode, right? I put it off because I was like, I don't want to be sad today.
Yeah.
And then I was like, yep, cliffhanger. Fuck.
Yep. Womp womp.
Yep. Link, what have you been playing lately? Have you been playing any soothing games?
I've been playing Pokemon Snap, which is a very soothing game.
Oh, that's probably. I should have bought that instead of. Now that I think about it, damn. That's got to have all these elements, right? I mean.
Yeah. Pokemon Snap is pretty wonderful in that same way. It has short levels. They're only 4-6 minutes long. And then you pick your pictures and you get scored on them, but like you don't get in trouble if you don't do good. You just get more points when you do good.
Yeah,
that's great.
And it's fun to see the Pokemon doing cute little things, and they do different things the more times you go to the same levels.
Yeah.
And there's something very nice about taking pictures. That's sort of a fun, soothing thing.
Also, it's Pokemon. It's bright and colorful.
It's beautiful. There's a whole thing in this Pokemon where the Pokemon have a special thing where they get very sparkly at night, and so like.
Are they
not only is it bright and beautiful, but then there's a whole extra layer where it's like, and now also they glow in the dark and are very glittery. Like, you're welcome.
I hate nighttime in video games because usually things get either harder or scarier or colder. Right?
Or both.
Yeah. The idea that I would look forward to nighttime in a video game is even in Animal Crossing, like the stores close at night and you're like, damn it, I can't buy, I can't go to check what the Nooks are selling. It's like,
It's like, yay, I'm excited because I can catch tarantulas now, but I'm less excited because now I have to hold a big pocket full of tarantulas until the morning.
Yeah. Like, oh, okay. I like this. I again, this is another. I don't know of any other game that I look forward to it being nighttime. I love it when games let you just like control time and skip forward. Genshin does this, allows you to do this. I don't know, I keep going back to it. The game just has everything. It just, at any moment, you could just skip ahead in time. But there isn't, like, it's not like in Hyrule and suddenly, the horrors come out, the moment the sun goes down. And
the cool thing with Littlewood, the nighttime is only, like, the smallest section of your stamina bar, right?
That's true.
Like, and it looks nice when it's nighttime. Oh, it got dark, but, like, in the town, everything lights up and... It's nice.
Actually, that's my next. I'm gonna invest in lighting for the town because the one time I've had a nighttime, it was very dark because there's nothing there.
I have a lot of houses in my town now.
Yeah. Can I build like a lighting infrastructure?
I don't know yet.
You have to.
There's a whole bunch of things that you have to.
Curve?
Yeah, I don't know. You have to collect things to build them, so there might be lighting somehow, but like. I have probably like 8 people living in the town now, plus like 5 or 6 other structures. So there's light coming from all of those places.
These I don't know so much about Pokemon Snap yet, but because I haven't played it and I don't know enough about it yet. But there's been one of the things that I've really, really loved about Genshin and other games like this, and even Animal Crossing, it's like it feels like that what you invest in it results in something in return. So it's a different kind of satisfaction, right? Like we can play a battle royale game, right? And then like your skill might improve or decrease, and they try to build in these things that you can accumulate, but it doesn't feel like you're affecting the world. Like things aren't changing But the idea that you're doing something, in the case of Littlewood, you're building a town, right? It's like, well, there's like, oh, look at everything that I've done, because I the time that I invested, it feels like something that you got something out of it. It's not that in other games you don't, because it's just not tangible or even quantifiable. It's just like, I had a great experience, and that's what I wanted. I got to hang out with my friends. It was cool. Or I have like this story now that I can tell because this epic thing happened. But there's like a simplicity to these games. It's like, chop 100 trees, you can build a house. It's like, that's all I wanted. I just want,
That's all you wanted.
Yeah, I feel.
Want some points for taking pictures of Pokemon.
Feel satiated.
It's interesting. Like when I was younger, I wish I had my camera so I could actually do. I used to be into photography. I would go out and do black and white film photography, and that was my way of de-stressing at the end of a long week. I would just go somewhere in the city in San Francisco and take pictures. And my camera was stolen out of the back of my car, and I felt like pretty upset about that. And then my stepbrother gave me a new one that I haven't used. But I think, I don't want to have to drive to San Francisco and go take some pictures. Maybe I'll take some pictures of some Pokemon in a game.
Yeah. Okay.
It's less of an ordeal. Like that could be like, I make a day to go take pictures, but like Pokemon Snap could be there anytime I want it to be.
Yeah. So I've been playing Pokemon Snap for like the last week and a half. But yesterday I was like, I'm gonna go for a little walk, and I walked around the cul-de-sac I live in now, and there are a bunch of rhododendrons that are all in bloom right now. So it's very beautiful. There are lots of pretty flowers and bees and stuff. And I took out my new phone with its very fancy camera on it, and I was taking a bunch of pictures. And then a neighbor cat came up, and I got like an action shot of that kitty.
How many points
and it felt,
was that?
It felt like this was definitely a diamond shot.
Yeah.
I got
It's
large,
a real life Pokemon Snap.
It was doing something cute at the moment. Like, nailed it. That's a top tier.
Yeah. What'd you unlock?
The nighttime level, I guess. I can go out later tonight once the sun is set.
If that cat is glowing, I don't think that's a good sign.
I hope so. It's a very cute cat. A dirty street cat. I love it.
Dirty street cat. Dirty street cat.
Yeah, I think that, like Animal Crossing last year, these games are providing the sort of tend and befriend action sequences that are less common in video games, but are becoming more common, as testified by the conversation we're having today, with several examples of games that are all about the tend and befriend aspect of life instead of more on conflict and violence and aggression and stuff. I do think it's good that there are new ones, because I also got a little burned out on Animal Crossing. And I don't think that it's necessarily because there's anything wrong with Animal Crossing, or that Animal Crossing has done something, that they could do better. I think it's just part of human nature for us to do something for a while, and then you get acclimated to it enough. You're looking for something novel. It might still be fulfilling the same things that you were fulfilling before, but you needed, a new art style. A new, just a slightly new system where instead of logs and rocks and grass to grow things, it's like there's a fourth element, and it's goo or something. Just a little extra, something that adds a little bit of novelty, but not so much that the systems feel unfamiliar or overwhelming or anything. It's like you're still getting the calm, achievable goals, things that you can just opt into or not, and the game doesn't punish you for choosing to just do your own thing. I love that.
I'm going to keep talking about Genshin for a while, because I think it's impressive in ways that I think
Genshin is, from what I have heard about it, Genshin is like 4 or 5 games that are smushed together, and you can just play the ones that you like, and that's cool.
What's fascinating about it is that it has elements from so many different games, but it's just and the way that the company is dealing with it and actually producing it and is impressive, because it's trying to address all of the things that Link just brought up. It's trying to mix things up in a way so that you have something new to do. And it uses different ways to do that. It gives you plenty of time to do it, but there's still limited time events. So there's like there's a scarcity piece of it that motivates you. There's just novelty, but it's not. I mean, a lot of the battle royale games and other games do this kind of thing. This game it has a story, like with voice acting, right?
I mean, that's the beauty of MMOs.
Well, but yes, but MMOs again, it has. This isn't an MMO. Like it's not an MMO. It's building out that story in different ways. It is and it isn't, right? I think,
I said, it has it has borrowed aspects from so many different types of games that definitely MMO is apparent in there.
There are just things. There's something about this game that I don't understand why. I mean, it's making tons of money.
The gacha stuff makes so much money, and like continued engagement that I'm sure that is completely funding their ability to try other new systems and new ways to engage with the characters and everything. And actually, like, hey, players, what do you want? Like, what you want to kiss them? Well, we can build a kissing game now. We got all that gacha money. We'll build you a kisser. Yeah.
So it has this element from like MMOs in which like, oh, like the story has ended, right? It's going to keep growing and there's new pieces to the world. But then there's something about the fact that like they actually have a cadence that they've stuck to. Like every 6 weeks there's an update that like changes things. There's new characters every couple of weeks. It's like it's got so many different things that are, again, I don't know, it's just impressive. Like it looks and feels like, imagine if Breath of the Wild just kept getting an update every 2 weeks. That's my dream game, right? And they were like, but you know what? You might want different characters, right? It's like, why would I want to play with someone other than? Oh yeah, no. Okay,
I would have a hard time with this game. I got my people. That's it. Just the starting people.
See, but what it would do is it would introduce you to a character that was sprung forth from your head, the perfect character, and then they would be like, oh, but you can't have this one, not yet. Not yet. Don't you want her? Look how beautiful she is. And you're like, yes, I want the 5-star version, please.
So that's one thing that the game does. It gives you some of the worst characters are your starters, and then it lets you play for a moment in the story as different characters, and you're like, this feels completely different. I mean, it's very
I love talking to my clients about which characters they love the most and why. And one of them loves the starter characters because nobody else likes them.
Yeah, no,
and I think that's really
sweet.
I love
that. I love when people. I can't even.
Character. But one thing that the game has done, to everything that I said before about there being this predictability to things, right? Like, oh, I know exactly what I'm going to get. One of the things that has been the most, impactful in Genshin is the fact that you're always gaining things, and then suddenly, like, you do earn. You're in this loot box system, right? And then you get like a brand new character, and it kind of it's enough to shift things around, right? It's like when you're in a game. I'm trying to think of a game that has Animal Crossing did this. I don't know. And I don't know if Littlewood has a version of this, but like, I mean, in the first day you can't cut down trees, right? So you can't move things around. And then you get this new tool and it's like, oh, this changes everything. Cause now I can actually cut down the trees and like it opens up this whole different area. So Genshin does this in a way that I think is like, I want to study this game hard. Like, I think it does so many, it is so impressive. It does feel like someone pitched like the perfect, like, we need a game that addresses all these things. And they went to, China, and someone was like, yeah, okay, we'll give you a ridiculous amount of money that no one else will give you to actually try to do this. And it's working. Anyway, but, and ultimately I'm it's also a mobile game, right? Like it's on phones, so you can just play it for a little bit and get all of these elements. And I was telling someone the other day about how, most video games aren't finished. You can go into trophies on Xbox or PlayStation or on Steam. You can see achievements, and you can see how many people have finished the game. The percentage of people who ever finish a game is super, super low. And this is mostly like narrative games, right? Like, but it's the same thing. You go through, you get what you needed from
unless
them.
there's a pandemic, and then people who never finish games like myself finish a lot of games.
No, but you get to a point, right, where you're like, okay, this is what I got what I needed out of it. It wasn't the end of the story, and then you go forward and you do something else. So, I mean, we talked about that at the beginning. Link is right. This is something that, in general, which is why Genshin has surprised me in the fact that it just adds these random elements in a way that are additive. Like sometimes, like my favorite villager leaving in Animal Crossing doesn't feel good. Like that doesn't mix things up in a way that I feel great about.
Never leave me.
I don't know if anyone in Littlewood leaves, but so far they haven't. So I don't think they do.
Also,
Willow will never leave you.
Yeah, I think it's more the Stardew route where the people are the people. You just get to decide what kind of relationship you have with them.
Yeah, but like Animal Crossing punishes you for not in ways for not being around.
It emotionally punishes you.
Yeah. It's like all your friends
make you feel guilty.
They make you feel guilty. There's like roaches in your house. There's like weeds everywhere. Like it's little things. And I know Stardew was kind of the same way, right? It's like you weren't fast enough. You didn't get all the crops. Sorry, you like wasted time. Right. Yeah. Littlewood sounds like a dream. I'm going to.
I love it so much. And I was telling Link when we had our little technical difficulties earlier, I don't know how much longer I'm going to be playing it because Mass Effect, the remastered edition is coming out, and I will be playing that because I never played Mass Effect.
That provides a different kind of soothing experience. The soothing experience of wanting to kiss space ladies. I love you, Liara.
I think we're going to revisit some of these ideas when we definitely talk about Mass Effect at some point.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to be streaming it on the Twitch channel too. There's like, I never finished. I don't think I ever finished. No, did I finish one? I don't know. It's like
What?
I don't think I finished one, but then I was so excited about 2, and I finished 2, and then when 3 came out, I was excited, but I never finished 3. It was like it's this the same thing that we're talking about. Like, oh, like I've had enough, I'm good. But then when it resets, I'm like, oh yeah, no, I'm in. But when games like this, it's like, well, if you didn't get to the end, then you can't continue your story.
You can. Correctly. You're just a little confused.
No, I mean like you can continue your story if you finish the end of 1. You can carry those events off into 2. Right? But
yes.
You have to finish. I'm like, oh, but I want to do the new one. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's those are good games. We'll talk about those. So Jonathan is in the chat. See, unfortunately I cannot play typical relaxing games because they require a lot of time. But then I play Monster Hunter, and I'm assuming MH is Monster Hunter, and I love just going on expeditions and exploring the landscape and wildlife without hunting anything. Monster Hunter, I was obsessed with that game for a while, and for a lot of the same reasons. That was one of these. And like when you said hunting, like taking down a monster Hunter is incredibly satisfying in that sense. Ironically, so what Jonathan is saying, like a hunt could take like 40 minutes, 50 minutes even. They can take
a day in Littlewood can take like 5 minutes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can't just like do part of a hunt in Monster Hunter, right? Like it requires a larger commitment. But definitely in Littlewood, it's shorter. Even Genshin, like there's a lot of little things that you can do, or you can start a story and progress through and do a whole bunch of things. So I really recommend that. And like you said, Pokemon Snap, it's like 5 or 6 minutes, right, for a level.
Yeah, I mean they're different, and some of them, like I said, they change the more you go to them. So it's like some of them will have secret routes that add on an extra 30 seconds or whatever. But yeah, they're very bite sized. I live with a baby right now, and so Pokemon Snap, it does have a pause function, which obviously that's necessary and needed. But even with that, it is nice to be able to be like, okay, I'm gonna play one loop, and then hopefully Roz will stay asleep until the end of it. But if not, it's okay.
All right, so Genshin is my new Monster Hunter. Littlewood is Lara's new Animal Crossing. What is Pokemon Snap replacing for you, Link?
Oh,
Hades. It's your new Hades.
I guess. Yeah. I mean,
Hades. Had short runs too, right? Like,
Hades.
Even a full run.
Depending on how it went, I feel like most of
mine were short because I failed.
I feel like most of my completed runs were between 30 and 40 minutes, so I wasn't like hitting the speed run scores that I've watched some people on YouTube do, where they're like beating the whole game in 6 minutes or something, which is mind-boggling. But yeah, that was Hades was also set up that it wasn't a huge deal if you just paused it and set it down and went and did something else. Because each room was encapsulated, so you could clear a room and then
just don't pause in the middle of a boss battle.
I mean, you can, but you will probably get eaten. Yeah. Pokemon Snap is Pokemon Snap that I never got to play as a child. Is what that's replacing for me.
Gotcha. So you recommend it? You recommend it?
I do. If you listeners, viewers, were like me, where you were not of means, and so you didn't get to play Pokemon Snap as a child, and you just played the Pokemon Snap demo at the Blockbuster on their special Pokemon Snap machine. Pokemon Snap for Switch, it hits the spot. It's time travel back to the ye olden Blockbuster days. Except, so many new Pokemon.
Yeah.
It's great.
Right. Cool. So I think that's it for this episode. Thank you very much for joining us. This is 298. We're 2 weeks away from 300. I still don't know what we're gonna do, but I'm very excited. All the tags videos are up, so if you are interested and you somehow missed the first ever Therapeutic and Applied Geek and Gaming Summit, where we had tons of great speakers, including Link Keller and Lara Taylor, and a lot of there's over 80 hours of content, and it worked. We recorded everything, and it's up. It broke my computer in 3 different ways, but and my brain in like 4 different ones. But we did it. They're all up. Tell your friends. Check it out. Find that at tagsummit.org. In the show notes, you'll find links to all of our community spaces where you can come and hang out. Places like the GT Forum, where you can comment on all our episodes. This episode is being streamed on YouTube. We started streaming on YouTube. So if you're watching this, hello. If you're listening, just know that every week, Wednesday nights in the US, we are recording and broadcasting on YouTube. But our Twitch channel isn't going anywhere. We'll be playing like Mass Effect soon on Twitch.
Yes.
We got lots of exciting stuff coming. It's very exciting. Thank you for listening. Remember to geek out and do good, and we'll be back next week.
Bye.